Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS, and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news. There's some hot, swirling speculation right now that could really shake up the NFC East, and more specifically, the Washington Commanders. The buzz is about a potential trade involving T. Higgins, the dynamic wide receiver from the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Is this really happening? Well, according to various sources close to the league, there's a strong indication that Cincinnati is open to dealing Higgins as part of a broader rebuild effort. And the team that's emerging as a prime candidate to land him, that's right, it's our beloved Commanders. So let's break down what's fueling all this talk. First, a little background on Higgins himself. The guy is only 26 years old, but he's already proven to be one of the most versatile and explosive wideouts in the league. Standing at 6'4" and weighing around 220 pounds, Higgins is the kind of receiver who can do it all. He's a red zone threat, a big target for quarterbacks, and a guy who can stretch defenses vertically. In the 2025 season alone, he played 15 games, catching 59 passes for 846 yards, averaging 3 yards per reception and scoring 11 touchdowns. His catch percentage is solid at 62%, and he's also a reliable YAC threat, averaging 2.8 yards after the catch per reception. Higgins isn't just a one-trick pony. He's a complete package that can elevate any offense, especially with a young guy like Sam Howell leading the way. Now, what about his career stats? Over 6 seasons, Higgins has accumulated 389 receptions for 441 yards and 48 touchdowns. That's an average of about 14 yards per catch and roughly 8.5 yards per target. He's been consistently productive, and he's shown resilience, having avoided injuries in 2025, a big plus for any team looking for stability at the receiver position. Not to mention, Higgins' production with the Bengals has been comparable to some of the league's top receivers. Think of the kind of impact he could make with the Commanders, especially now that they're looking to bolster their offense and make a real push for the playoffs. And this is where the reasoning behind Cincinnati's willingness to trade him comes into play. The Bengals finished 6-11 last season, a disappointing record that has many fans and analysts questioning their current roster strategy. The team is also facing a cap crunch with around $8 million in cap space, which is tight when you consider they need to address the defensive line and other key areas. Higgins' contract, which is around $25 million per year, does weigh heavily on the team's salary cap, especially if they're looking to rebuild and retool for the future. Trading Higgins could free up some much-needed cap space, much like the Bills did with Stefon Diggs in 2024, which helped them manage their finances better and focus on building a more well-rounded roster. Now, for the Commanders, acquiring Higgins would be a game-changer. Their offensive profile would instantly get a boost. Imagine pairing him with Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin, 2 already proven options, plus the possibility of a more creative and explosive passing attack with Sam Howell at quarterback. Higgins' versatility would give the Commanders an offensive weapon that defenses would have to game plan around, freeing up McLaurin for more one-on-one opportunities and opening the field for other weapons. His ability to win contested catches and make big plays in clutch moments could be the difference-maker in close games. And with the Commanders looking to take a step forward in 2025, adding a player of Higgins' caliber would be a huge statement about their ambitions. What about the numbers? Well, projections suggest that with Higgins in the fold, the Commanders could see their offensive yards increase by around 200 to 300 yards over the course of the season. His presence on the field could boost their yards per route run by approximately 18 yards, making the passing game more efficient and dangerous. Additionally, Higgins' ability to attract double coverage would create more space for McLaurin, who could see his yardage increase by around 400 yards, turning him into a more consistent deep threat. The EPA expected points added per pass could rise by roughly 15%, and touchdowns could see an increase of around 10, signaling a more potent offense overall. This kind of upgrade could have a profound impact on the team's record and playoff chances. For example, with Higgins, the Commanders could realistically aim for a 9-8 or even better record, making a push into the postseason. His red zone prowess, much like Mike Evans with the Bucs in 2025, would be invaluable. Higgins's red zone targets are especially dangerous. His ability to win contested catches and create mismatches in tight spaces makes him a red zone threat that defenses would have to schematically adjust to. The odds of the Commanders making the Super Bowl could shift from +10, 0 to around +3, 0 if this trade happens, and Higgins's presence alone could serve as a catalyst for a deep playoff run. And let's not forget the timing. The NFL trade deadline is approaching, set for November 4th, and teams are scrambling to reshape their rosters for the stretch run. This makes the Higgins situation even more urgent. The Bengals, in their rebuild mode, are motivated to get value for a player of Higgins's caliber, especially if it means adding draft capital that could be vital for their future plans. For the Commanders, acquiring Higgins now could accelerate their rebuild, giving them a legitimate WR1 to pair with their young core and push for a postseason appearance. Looking at the bigger picture, this potential trade signals a shift in how the Commanders are approaching their roster building. They've been patient, adding pieces and developing young talent, but now they're aiming to take that next step, making bold moves to contend. Higgins's addition would be a clear statement that Washington is serious about competing now, not just rebuilding for the future. It's a move that could redefine their offensive identity and set the tone for the franchise's aspirations for the next few seasons. Of course, there are skeptics. Some argue that trading away draft capital for an established player like Higgins could limit their flexibility in future drafts. Others worry about the cap implications, though the potential payoff makes it worth considering. But if the Commanders manage to land Higgins, it would send a clear message to the division and the league. They're here to win now, and they're not afraid to make bold moves to do it. And that brings us to the Bengals side of things. They're in a tricky spot, too. Rebuilding after a tough 6-11 season isn't easy, especially with cap constraints and the need to develop young players on defense. Higgins's trade value is high right now, and moving him could help Cincinnati stockpile draft picks and reset their roster for a sustained rebuild. It's a classic case of a team trying to balance the present with the future. Sometimes, parting ways with a star receiver is the best way to set the stage for a brighter tomorrow. But ultimately, the ball is in Cincinnati's court. If they do go ahead and trade Higgins to the Commanders, it could be one of the biggest moves of the offseason, reshaping the NFC East's power dynamics. Washington would get a proven, versatile wide receiver who can elevate their entire offense, and the NFC playoff picture could look very different come January. The fans are excited, and the buzz is real. Everybody's waiting to see if this blockbuster will come to fruition. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, if this trade happens, it could very well accelerate the Commanders' offensive identity, making their passing game more explosive and giving them that extra edge to upset division rivals like the Eagles and Cowboys. The NFC East is already one of the most competitive divisions in the league, and adding a player like Higgins could be the missing piece that pushes Washington into the top tier. Fans are dreaming of a playoff run, and with Higgins on board, those dreams become a lot more realistic. The team's coaching staff, led by Coach Ron Rivera, would surely get creative in how they utilize Higgins's skill set, designing plays that maximize his big frame and big play ability. Meanwhile, the Bengals are probably eyeing the draft and looking to rebuild their roster with future assets. They have young pieces on defense, and acquiring picks could help them accelerate the rebuild. But in the end, the real winners here could be the fans, those who want to see their team contend, make noise in the postseason, and maybe even chase that elusive Super Bowl. And who knows? If Higgins joins Washington and helps lead a deep run, it might be remembered as one of the most impactful trades of the 2024 NFL offseason. So, as we keep an eye on the league and wait for official confirmation, one thing is clear. This potential deal has the NFL buzzing. The NFC East is about to get even more interesting, and the Commanders might just have an ace up their sleeve. Whether it's just rumors or the start of something real, the excitement is undeniable. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over, and the next few weeks could bring some major surprises. The Commanders are positioning themselves to compete at a higher level, and Higgins might just be the key piece that ignites their offense and pushes them into the postseason conversation. It's an exciting time for Washington fans, and we'll be here to bring you all the latest updates as they unfold. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Washington Commanders. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news.